Welcome to Refined Savage. Today, guys, on the podcast, we have the Southern Monkey, Kerry Overfelt. People have been requesting me to get Kerry back on the show for a while. This one went completely out of control. There was way too many cocktails. We did this one up in Canada at the Swiss convention. There was a bug attack at one point. It was a total shit show for the whole podcast. So lots of laughs, lots of crazy stories. And a lot of people got drive-bys on this one. So check it out. See if you like it. Thanks. First ever international podcast. Swiss conference in Mississauga, Ontario, Canada.
Is it Mississauga? I thought it was Mississauga.
Mississauga.
Ah, there you go.
You know who would know how to say this?
Peter Ingleton.
Well, Peter would. But Big Gene would, too. Big Gene would definitely know how to pronounce this name.
It's a very weird name.
So, anyhow, we are outside of Toronto, Ontario, Canada. We are a few cocktails in.
Couple.
Last night was fun.
Blast.
So, we're here at this conference, and it's the strength and conditioning professionals. It's like the greatest minds in the industry. We show up like an hour late. Immediately go to the bar and start drinking. We go to the first seminar, and Judd Logan's in there, and we walk in, and I'm so embarrassed because he gets all excited and goes, "What'd you go see?" And we came late and went to the bar. He was a little disappointed in us.
He shouldn't have been. I mean, we were late. We don't want to be rude and interrupt someone.
That's true. And then he yelled at us again today because we weren't in a seminar, and he said to get out of the bar.
But we were actually in a seminar.
We were on our way to the seminar.
We were actually on our way to the seminar.
We skipped the seminar.
That's right.
Yeah, there wasn't anything. So I went and saw first night. You didn't go to the workshop with me. I went to the Kaz Cohen workshop, and you went to see somebody doing
Luke
bikini.
Lehman. They did it's like a bikini figure physique performance nutrition seminar.
So while he was at that, I was learning from Kaz and Cohen on how to actually lift weights and perfect technique from the two best lifters in the world.
In 30 years, Mark hadn't figured that out yet, how to lift.
I'm always trying to get better, unlike you who were just trying to look at girls in bikinis.
I try and expand my mind and try and learn outside the box.
And then afterwards, we ended up at the bar with Jim Wendler.
Yes, we did.
We were trying to get him to drink, but he wouldn't drink.
Jim was drinking Diet Coke or something.
Right. And we just sat there and talked about Netflix specials and what books we were all reading. And
football. Me and him, we discussed football a little bit.
Yeah, he tried to talk to me about that, and I don't know anything about football.
You're not a sports guy.
So on our way up, we decided to answer questions from the social media webs, and we ended up getting 4 or 5, I think,
6,
something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
Or something. So we have Zach Pape here who's going to yell out questions to us, and then we are going to answer these to the best of our abilities. Where's Craig? Why isn't Craig here for this?
Craig doesn't leave the house.
Yeah.
Only for money.
He's an agoraphobic.
Craig only leaves the house if he's getting paid.
Yeah.
He's a little bit of a hermit.
What's going on with his hair? Last time we talked to Craig. Craig has since had a heart attack.
He has.
The only time you've ever called me on the telephone.
True.
In like the 20 years I've known you, I knew someone was dead. I just assumed someone was dead because you called me instead of texted me. And lo and behold, Craig was almost dead.
Craig had a bit of a heart attack spat and got a couple stents put in, but he's good now.
Well, he's good physically.
He's good. He's in fantastic shape. He's staying about
better shape than we are.
250. He looks like he's ready to go on stage.
Right.
However, I think he's trying to work on a mullet. I don't know if he's trying to bring it back, but he's definitely got a mullet.
He's always a little thin up in the front, and we don't have room to talk, but we at least have decided to just shave it off.
My friend, you and I don't want to look like Costanza, so we just shave it off.
Mr. Burns from The Simpsons.
Exactly.
He's holding on.
He's got a lot. He's got more hair than we do.
Do you remember the pictures, the shirtless
black
and white pictures of him on the internet with him throwing the half caver?
I do.
It's the only person I've ever found who was able to successfully take embarrassing pictures of themselves off the internet.
Now listen, Craig thought he looked great in those.
He was wrong. He looked ridiculous in those.
Well, if we're going to go with who's going to look worse, Craig or some really big fat Highlander?
There's a few of those.
That's what I'm saying. So, at least, he had that going for him.
Like Hadley. Hadley was a big fat Highlander.
Hadley couldn't have done those pictures. He's too white. He would have flushed it out.
He would have showed up on film.
Hadley would have been a mess.
Remember when we went up to Calgary with the Hadley story with him in the bar?
Hadley was very, very intoxicated.
It started off as we got invited up there for the World Team Championships.
Which we won and are still champions, by the way.
I can't remember Gordo's real name. You remember Gordo?
Walsh.
Gordon Walsh.
Gordon Walsh.
Who was the scariest motherfucker I've ever met in my life.
Yes.
Tell them about that when we pulled up to the thing in the van.
So Gordon's he's very peculiar about the way he wants stuff done.
He wants to be talked to a certain way too.
Yes. And so we arrive on a Thursday, and Gordo's got us hooked up in a 5-star hotel downtown.
Easily. We didn't even know where the TV.
We thought it was wallpaper, and it was on the wall TV.
The whole fucking wall was a TV set.
That's how long ago it was, people. We didn't even know there was such a thing as
a flat screen TV. We had no idea.
So Gordo tells us we're going out to eat, takes us out to eat. We didn't spend any money on that.
Yep.
Picks us up the next day. He's taking us to the field. We roll up to the field, and they've got a gate locked, and they tell Gordon, no, you can't come through here.
With a whole van load of athletes.
So Gordo pulls back and then pulls over to the side, jumps out of the van, and he walks over and starts to dog cuss the absolute hell out of 3 dudes. And I've never seen 3 guys cower down in my life like they did.
Security guards too. They had the uniforms on.
They were fumbling with keys and dropping shit and trying to unlock this gate. Gordo had them pissing their pants.
Yeah.
And I'll be damned if he didn't unlock that gate and we went through there.
We did.
Because I remember I said, oh my God, guys. Because he jumped down. He said, I've got the professional athletes here and you motherfuckers are going to open this gate right now.
So it was the we called it the World 6-Man Team Championships. Because that's the way the pro wrestling days. So it was a 3-man team. It was me, you, and Zolkowicz.
Yes.
Versus Hadley,
Doherty,
and Johnston.
Yes.
And then Alistair Gunn, Bruce Aitken, God rest his soul,
and there was
Scott, Gordon Martin. Maybe?
No, Stephen.
No, it was Bruce Aitken and
and Alistair.
Yeah.
Come on, I'm almost positive it was a hammer thrower. He was a hammer guy.
I don't remember who the third Scott was.
I can't remember. God, why can't I remember? Was it Alistair's brother?
Was it Murray Gunn?
Was it Murray?
I don't know if I've ever.
I don't know if it was Murray. I don't know if it was Murray.
Anyhow, there was another guy who talked funny, and we ended up. Remember, because Father Doug McDonald was our judge, and you busted my balls.
No. You busted his balls. He come across in his preacher outfit.
He had the priest. He
was a priest.
He was a full-blown Catholic
and
priest.
You said, "Watch this."
Yeah.
And Doug gets about halfway over there.
Before you, Doug was my traveling partner.
Right.
So I knew Doug for a while.
And what's funny is Doug was a good-looking, promiscuous dude.
Doug was a pussy magnet.
Exactly.
And I could never figure out why he wouldn't. These girls, I was like always his consummate wingman because he would just come on the field. These girls would be all over.
You are a fantastic wingman.
Pick up the caterpillars and other ones he left behind, I'd have to hang out with them all night.
So Doug gets halfway,
flirting with Doug,
halfway across the field, and Valenti screams at the top of his lungs, "Dougie, how the fuck are you?" And I was like,
he laughed. He thought that was funny.
He did laugh. Yeah. He chuckled pretty hard.
Yeah.
And he was like, very calmly, "Mark Valenti, how are you?" I'll never forget that.
Yep. And then he busted my balls all day long.
He was. In his priest outfit, too.
Yep, in his priest outfit.
That was pretty cool.
He was a legend. So
he was.
We ended up winning.
Handily
winning.
Smoked him.
Now, we were never invited back to defend that title because after that, the IHGF took over. And there was a strong Valenti Overfelt bias among the IHGF. Yeah.
There was.
Mostly because we knew those guys were all on drugs, and they thought we were on drugs. And they were like a bunch of fucking hypocritical assholes saying that, everyone's going to get drug tested now that they were out of the sport. Maybe I shouldn't have had too many cocktails before we did this podcast.
You've had a few cocktails on that one.
They were fucking on drugs because nobody looks like that and throws that far. Right. But anyhow,
God.
we were, so we were never invited back. But that night, so we go to that 5-star hotel.
So, yes.
And we come downstairs to the bar. And the bar is like
hopping.
Yes. All these girls with, at the time, they were hipsters, but they didn't call them hipsters at the time. So it's all these beautiful girls with these kind of squirrely, bearded up guys, with the,
with the line beards.
Yeah. So we were drinking mojitos that night.
We were.
Yeah, I remember having the bartender make us Bacardi mojitos.
You and I both were, what, 315 at the time?
315 easy.
Woo!
And we sat down, and we didn't give a shit because we were gigantic, and all their guys were like 160 pounds. So we just basically stood up and said, "Hey, come on over here, ladies." And they came over.
Yes, they did. Until Hadley showed up.
Hadley was a fucking cockblocker.
So Hadley shows up and is just...
Where was Hadley?
They had went to a strip club.
No. He wanted to go to a strip club.
That's right. Now this is pre-married Hadley.
Yeah, so this pre-married, so he
was only 25, maybe 24.
Yeah,
Zach's age. Hint.
Young Zach Pappé.
Anyways, but he was off the rails when he got there.
He was fucked up. He had 2 drinks in his hands, and he was sitting in the middle of the bar, demanding we take him to a peeler bar, which is Canadian for strip joint.
Yes, he was. He was demanding. He was off the res. He was off the reservation.
And then he dropped his drinks. There was glass everywhere. And at this time, the girls had enough. And they were just like, okay. So they started to go away. And we all lost our girls because Hadley was there acting like an idiot. And never did get to go to his peeler bar.
No, I don't think that ever happened because he was too drunk.
He was too drunk.
Yeah.
He couldn't take it. He was all fucked up.
He was something.
And then we went to, the next morning, they took us up to Banff.
Oh, one of the most beautiful places I've ever been in my life. I mean, it's gorgeous up there. Yeah. Beautiful. Now, tell them about us being in 90-degree weather in cowboy hats in Calgary on Saturday. And then what did we experience the next morning?
Oh, yeah. So there's a famous picture of us with cowboy hats on, and we were handsome devils.
You used the word famous with that, didn't you?
Fantastic in those cowboy hats. So at
least we thought we did.
They had us all walk into the stadium like a kilted parade, but they gave us all these like super high-end
sterling hats. Yes.
White cowboy hats.
Yes.
So we walked into the stadium, we waved, and we got our pictures taken in the cowboy hats. And then when we left, we were all, and it was like 85 degrees. It was super hot.
Oh, it was beautiful.
And then like in the airport, 3 days later, we're all in the airport. Like I'm in flip-flops. We're all wearing our cowboy hats on the airplane,
Yes. But when we went to Banff, it was snowing.
Next day, we went to Banff, Alberta, and it was snowing. And we went up to the Banff Inn for, they bought us brunch at that Banff Inn. There was all those like,
it's amazing.
Seafood and all that steaks, and it was just amazing. We walked around, but it was like a ski village, and it's snowing. It looked like something out of Harry Potter.
But we got up there, and there was like 3 inches of snow on the ground.
Right.
And we'd just been in 85-degree weather. It was crazy, but beautiful. God is beautiful up there. Great place.
Yeah. So, how do we get on this? We were talking about questions. So
you got on
Pappé, young Pappé over there has our questions. So throw one out, and then we'll field them as we go.
All right, so
nothing bad could happen from this.
So Kerry, this isn't your first time traveling with Mark. Why does Mark take so long in the shower?
So the question is, why do I take so long in the shower?
That is a great question, because let me explain myself. I actually asked this question because a day ago I come down and, I've slept all night and I've got to really use the bathroom, and Mark's in the second bathroom, which is downstairs. Me not knowing if Mark's wife Erin is home, I don't want to go into his bedroom and use the bathroom. So I'm downstairs and I'm prancing around. I'm like, oh, Jesus, I've got to go. So I'm like, I know Mark lives in a gated community and all this other stuff, but I'm going to go out here. I've got to piss in the yard.
Now, you got to realize that my house is under continuous surveillance from these old people. We are the youngest people in this condominium complex by 20 years, and they watch every move we make. So no matter what you think, we're being watched this entire time.
So I go out and I look around and I'm making sure nobody's, looking, and, I start pissing. So about, 5 seconds into this, here comes this old man walking his schnauzer. And I've got to cut it off. And I'm like, trying to whip around and act like I'm just hanging out outside
hanging out
in the cold in 30-degree weather. Mind you, it was 30 degrees and I'm out there in a T-shirt and a pair of shorts.
Yeah.
Let the old guy get by. And I'm like, okay, go back to peeing again.
Talk it back into working again.
Go back in, and I'm just like, oh my God, I'm so good. This morning, wake up at the hotel. Mark gets in the shower roughly about 7. I woke up the same time he did, and I was like, all right, I got to pee, but I can hold it. Mark won't be in there that long. 5 minutes goes by, 10 minutes go by, 20 minutes go by, and I'm like, F this shit. I've got to go. So I jump up, I get my clothes on. I've got to go 11 flights down. Then it's not like the bathroom.
You didn't walk down the steps. It was an elevator.
Now, is it 11 flights down?
It is, but it's still an elevator.
Then that's 11 flights down.
Don't make it sound like you were
so as
climbing a
I'm
mountain
trekking down in the elevator, it's not like the bathroom's beside the elevator. It's another 155 feet away at least. So I've got to run over there, fight through the Starbucks line, get in there to pee, come back upstairs as Mark's just now getting out of the bathroom. And it's like, where have you been? Again, pissing because you take so long in a shower. What takes you so long?
It takes a long time to look this good.
You are failing me. You have no hair. What are you doing nothing.
I didn't know that you were waiting for me to get out. I was taking my time.
Dudes don't spend 20 minutes in the bathroom.
I was, having to do stuff.
Unless there's something else going on, which I would have understood, but let me know.
I had to go to the bathroom. I had to take a shower. I had to brush my teeth. The whole 9 yards.
You can brush your teeth and take you poop in the shower. Come on.
Just waffle stomp it down the drain? Is that what you want me to do?
Stomp it in.
So,
all right. So,
but at least this trip we were both CPAP'd up.
We were. We need a picture of our CPAPs.
There was no snoring or
Yep.
throwing of phones. Remember you threw the phone at me? And
I actually feel like I saved your life.
How did you save my life?
Well, because when we were in Seattle many years ago, your snoring was so bad that I put on noise cancellation earphones, turned my music up, and put a pillow over my head, and still heard you snoring.
You snored just as bad. You just fell asleep later than I did.
But my point is, I was telling you how bad you snored. You finally got it checked out.
Being in Fergus, and I'm sleeping in the middle of the night, and this motherfucker takes the phone. We had a landline in the hotel back in those days. He takes the phone and throws it at me, hits me in the face, and then reels the phone back in.
In case I need to throw it again. I wanted to make sure. Because you were snoring that loud. You rattled the walls.
Yeah, I almost... Hadley, that's another Hadley story. I had him up all night. He was trying to sleep in the bathtub. I used to snore really bad.
Yeah, you did. Trust me, I'm well aware.
Yeah.
But I saved your life because you went and got it checked after that.
Well, who saved your life? You're all CPAP'd up.
But this is 20 years later. I mean, I should have had a CPAP 15 years ago.
I'm surprised you didn't have a heart attack.
Listen, it's drove my blood pressure down. It's amazing what it's done for me.
It's a life changer.
If you're not on a CPAP, get one. Yep. Especially if you're a fatty like we were.
And most of you out there listening are fatties. So
that's right.
I don't know anyone listening to the show who is felt.
Bill Baxter, I know you need a CPAP.
Bill Baxter is a big motherfucker.
He is, but
427. You said
he's not 427.
That's what you said. You said he was 358.
I didn't say 427, but he's going to be a sexy 275 in a few months.
What, are you going to cack off one of his legs?
He
what?
Possibly will be a model,
an underwear model,
maybe even better.
Wow.
We may see Bill in porn.
I don't want to see Bill in porn.
Well, if you do...
I don't want to see Bill in like a public service announcement.
I don't want to see Bill naked. No, I don't.
Oh.
But he's going to be sexy in a few months.
All
Trust
right,
me.
I'll take your word
He's
for
on
it.
he's on the route.
Bill, get on that. We're waiting for it. All right, give me another question here, young Pepe.
This one, it says it's from Poor Chris Cook.
Yeah,
Poor Chris Cook. I don't
So
know
this
him.
is not a question. This is a
It says
story.
GFMT. I don't know what that means.
Yeah, you may want to ask us another question. We'll get to that story in a minute. We'll get to that
All right,
story.
you want
All right.
another question?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do a
What's
question.
the best way to get strong?
Oh, that's a James Davis
You guys
question.
were arguing
That's
today.
yours. Go for
Yeah.
You guys
it.
were arguing today at dinner about.
Yeah, so
We had an argument
well,
about
we
girls
did have an
volleyball
argument
players.
about that.
Yeah.
Of course, that's just us being goofy. So the best way to get strong is, I would say, for one, is consistency, and just keep adding more weight to the bar. Pretty simple.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no magic to it,
I would say Diana ball and heavy squats.
and that would. What about heavy deads?
Heavy deads would work too.
What about some type of heavy press?
Yep.
Okay.
So if you
What about
took
heavy curls?
high doses of testosterone
Yes.
and then just pressed something, pulled something, and squatted something heavy for 30 or 40 years.
Or drug it, or pushed it, or whatever. And if you're over the age of 40 and you're not on TRT training, then you need to check into that.
I would say 35.
I've always said 35, but I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt here.
Yeah.
But at 35, that's probably dropping off way down.
Do you want to give Dr. Jimmy a plug?
I love Dr. Jimmy. My doctor in Kentucky is a great guy. I get blood work done all the time. Dr. Jimmy does all my TRT stuff, and he is fantastic. Contact me if you're in that area. I can hook you up with him.
Yep. I'm with Affinity Whole Health. I don't know the doctor's name.
You don't know his name?
He gave me his card, but I don't remember.
Wow.
He was a nice young man.
Your attention to detail worries me sometimes.
Doesn't really matter to me that much.
They might be giving you estrogen. You ever think of that?
You
That
could
would
be on
that would
estrogen.
answer a lot of questions I have about you.
Like about why
If that's
it
the
takes
case.
so long in the bathroom?
Yes.
Yeah.
Why you're lactating on the way up
There's
here?
a lot of grooming involved. Eyebrow plucking and things like that.
So we need another question. What is it? Young Pape?
Young Pape. Young Pape is he's got some problems because we had all these hot girls at the restaurant,
Yeah.
and he wouldn't even look at them. Like, he wouldn't even look at them.
If I had hair like young
And we were
Pape,
trying to egg him on. We're like,
Yeah.
dude, go for it.
Was
You're
trying to help him out.
25 years old.
Yes. Young Pape needs, he needs to be spreading his seed.
Well,
Well.
at least practicing. Leanne, if Leanne hears this podcast, she's going to go through the fucking roof.
Leanne's
His
gonna
mother.
hear this podcast.
His
Leanne,
mother.
I'm sorry. It's just the way it is right now.
Well, she's happy now because their one son, Zane, is in this trap of a relationship where he is going to get married. There's just
Okay.
no way around it. I have warned him against it. I've had him talk to a recently divorced guy at the gym.
The one guy the
Super
other
Joe-
night,
Super
Super
Joe?
Joe. Yeah.
Joe.
Super Joe's angry.
I've warned him against all the traps and
Yep.
and problems and road bumps that
Yep.
are going to come his way. No matter how good the girl is, when you're that young, this is problematic. And he's not listening. And I'm guessing Leanne is egging this on because Leanne really wants
So
grandchildren.
is
bad.
Leanne the mom?
The mom,
Oh.
yes. It's actually my first client of the Pape family.
So this is what I'm going to say to Leanne. Leanne, do you want your son married or do you want him happy?
Yeah, he's
That's-
not going to be happy.
See, that's what you're looking at.
And it's not the girl. It's just he's too young to get married. This is not going to end
There's
well.
a lot of indecisiveness. I mean, you
What is
really.
it? What is there a lot of? Is there a lot of
After
what?
another cocktail, indecisiveness.
Kerry has had 3 shots of tequila and
I've had
4
two.
beers.
I've had 2, and I've actually had 6 beers because we had Corona. I had Corona over there.
That's true at the
And
restaurant.
you've had like a bottle of spiced eye patch guy
rum. Yes.
rum. Yes.
So anyhow, Pape doesn't apparently like girls.
I don't know if it's that. He may be embarrassed hanging out
I
with
don't
2
care.
old
We
dudes
know
to
plenty
hit
of
on
gay
chicks,
guys.
You know.
I mean, if he's
Oh,
gay, it's
I'm
fine.
totally
There's
okay with
nothing
that.
wrong with
Mark has
that.
this theory
That you're
that he
gay?
wants me to be
I
gay.
think he's. I mean, it would explain a lot. I mean,
Would Mark feel any different about you if you were gay,
maybe
young
we should
Pape?
start trying to hook him up with the guys at the seminar. We are at this seminar, and What are you doing?
There is a giant cricket behind your head. I swear to God.
You're just hanging out on the chair.
We're in a 5-star hotel and you got a cricket on your head. That is awesome.
Oh, fuck. So we're at this seminar, and we are the only guys apparently here in the audience that have ever lifted a weight. I'm convinced of this.
Mark did say to me,
I looked over during the John Meadows. John Meadows did a great, and it was Dr. Stevens.
Yes, Dr. Stevenson.
Yes, those guys did a great seminar.
Great.
And I was looking around. What was it called? Old man cranking or something?
Old man cranking, yes.
Because it was about how to train when you're old.
Fortitude training.
Yeah.
And then mountain dog training. But we did look around, and there was probably 6 dudes in the audience that looked like, man, these guys are jacked.
Yeah.
And then there was about 105 dudes that looked like, I don't really know if they did a lot of burpees or what, but didn't look like a lot of time under tension.
No, so there's a couple man buns and
yeah, but you know what? That's to be expected. That's kind of.
If I could get a man bun, I'd wear one. Just if I could have some hair.
I had enough hair to do a man bun. Saying. I mean, I wouldn't do a man bun, but I'd love to have that hair.
Right.
That'd be fantastic. So maybe we're just old grumpy men that are jealous.
We are. I've always been an old grumpy man. You're just catching up.
You have been.
Yeah.
You very grumpy all the time.
Do you have any more questions?
What have you learned in all your years of training?
Go.
What have I learned in all my years of training? Discipline. You know what I've learned, and it's something I've learned, not that I've learned it, but I've come to realize here at this seminar, that after being in this since 1987 and lifted as many weights as I have and have competed as many places as I have and seen it, nothing is new under the sun. So everything that I heard this weekend at the seminar, none of it was groundbreaking. It was reiterating what everyone should know, and that's that all you have to do is work your ass off for 30 years and you'll get strong. You know, and it doesn't matter if you're on conjugate or 531 or the cube or it doesn't matter. Just do something where you're lifting heavy weights for 30 years, and that's how you get strong. And I think the majority of the people at this conference, the young ones, and there's a ton of young ones, which is really cool. These guys probably young Pape's age, but they all are looking for this quick fix, or they've got all the scientific terminology down. Like some of them are talking way over my head.
Yeah.
But none of them are ever going to lift a ton of weight. And they're never going to be able to teach a guy how to deadlift 700 pounds because they've never done it. So it's not so much what I've learned as of recently, but just reiterated all these years, that it just takes a lot of hard work over a long period of time. And that's it.
I would agree with everything you said there. That helps. Consistency, smart, hard work, not, just hard work. And because I've done it the other way. I've done hard work that wasn't smart. And as you get older, you've got to get smarter about your training. And I think John Meadows and Dr. Stevenson hit on that, is getting smarter, not trying to force things into a place they don't need to be. So for young guys, and I feel, because I know this question comes from my boy Daniel Dones, and the biggest thing is consistency and not trying to reach the finish line right now. Not trying to meet your goal, in the next year, make it the next 5, the next 10, because Mark's been training over 30 years and I've been training over 30 years. And I think just that long haul, to be training this long, we've had to do something right.
Yeah.
Because we're not, yes, we've incurred injuries. Yes, we're broke down on certain occasions. Yes, sometimes we hurt, but it's not to a point where we stop.
Right. Yep.
So, I think the biggest thing I've learned is loyalty to the iron, staying consistent, staying in that game. Even days that we do workouts that we don't think are the greatest, we still did a workout. So that's
Loyalty
my 2 cents.
to the iron.
Loyalty to
That
the
should be
iron.
our dark side T-shirt.
That should be all that. Don't be stealing that. Don't be
Fine
refined savage in that.
t-shirt, yeah.
Loyalty to the iron.
Dare you compare your dark side T-shirts to mine?
Listen,
I
I
don't
don't
even know how to do speed training.
I don't have a brand, okay? You got a brand, my friend. I'm not branded.
This is an empire.
Next question, Pepe.
All right, let's get back to the Highland Games. So, would you
Okay.
guys ever consider doing a Pro Legends class at the Celtic Classic?
This is from Jane.
Yes.
Jane in
The AD.
Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, the
Yep.
athletic director of the Celtic Classic, sent that in. She was wondering if we wanted to do a Legends class at the Celtic Classic, and I think she was willing to pay the same money as the pros. It's fantastic that Jane took time out of her busy schedule to ask this question. And I'm psyched about it. I'm really psyched that she's offered to do this, and I think maybe we should really consider it.
One of my favorite ADs of all time is Jane.
Jane is my
Jane
favorite.
is
Always the best AD.
She runs a top-notch show. It is the national championship.
It is the national championship.
You are an absolute rock star for 3 days
right.
in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, tucked away in this little field, throwing big numbers and the crowd on the bridge and people standing around. And I mean, it's insane.
Right.
It's crazy.
I think what she suggested was 5 events.
Probably 5 events because we're old.
Over 2
Yep,
days.
over 2 days.
Right.
Maybe 3 on one, 2 on another.
Right. I think this is a great idea. I'm glad Jane brought this up.
Now, there are some stipulations, Jane. I mean, you'd have to been to the Celtic at least once to make this. I think
Absolutely.
I think that would only be fair.
I think.
Because if you're going to be a Celtic legend, you've had to be at Celtic.
Absolutely. Who would we?
Oh,
who would-
man,
other than us, of
I
course.
mean, me and you, of course. I mean,
Right.
we've been to the Celtic a lot.
Right.
So, if you're just thinking about guys throwing them out there, Craig Smith is, one of the ones that turned the huge caber there one
You
year.
can't pass a drug test. Go ahead.
He would have to be there. I would definitely, say, I don't know, probably somebody. I mean, Alistair Gunn.
Alistair Gunn.
Alistair Gunn would be a fantastic one. Bring him over. He's got the accent and everything.
He's like 72 years old, though.
Alistair still can go. He can still go.
He's the same size.
Yeah. Possibly Francis Bretmers. Francis still
Francis is like 160 pounds.
Is he?
He's small now. He's
Wow.
tiny. You wouldn't even recognize him.
Maybe he can't throw then.
What
What about the Barons?
the Baron was? Well, yeah, Will was there. Will threw the
Yep.
hammer into the porta potty. that
Yes,
one
he
time.
did. He
Yeah.
damn near killed somebody.
Right. We get the Baron brothers out
The
there.
Barons, definitely. You got to have the Barons.
I think Dave's still throwing well, though. I really don't want this to be difficult.
Oh,
So maybe
gotcha.
we need to tweak it. So
Yep.
if you threw a Celtic, but you're either very old or not throwing very well, then we'll invite you.
So
Dave
you're
made it this year in the pro class, which doesn't
is
say a whole hell of a lot
very,
for the
very
pro class.
little
'Cause
sketchy.
Dave is
No
like
offense,
47
Dave.
years old.
No offense, Dave.
And wasn't strong when he was 37 years old.
You know what though? But Dave always threw well.
Dave threw like
He
a
threw the
fucking
best when he
maniac.
got off the plane at like 3 a.m. and didn't have a bag.
Had the
and
same
came up
boots
barefooted.
on. He
Exactly.
would wear the same boots he threw hammer in and just put the screws in and put the blades on.
And if I'm not mistaken, I believe Dave is one of the 3 pros that actually turned the caber.
Yeah, Dave was a stud.
Dave
Never
is-
lifted
yeah.
a weight in his life, but
No.
was a stud.
And Will Barron is probably still smoking a ton of weed.
Oh, yeah.
Will's a
absolutely.
hippie.
He was like living in a commune with like
Was it a commune or like
tree
a
house or
a tent or something?
he was in Tibet for a while.
Well, that was his dope smoking sabbatical days.
Can you smoke dope in Tibet? Is that
Evidently,
legal?
you can smoke a lot of stuff in Tibet because he took a whole trip over
I
just
used
to do
love.
this.
I was a big Will Barron fan.
Love Will
He was a
Barron. We went to
great,
Scotland
great
together.
guy.
Will and me were buddies.
And I didn't like anybody, and I
You
liked Will Barron.
Still don't like anybody.
I like many more people now. I like Jane, and I'm glad she invited us to the Celtic.
Of course you like
Jane,
him.
I think you should just take this as our official, okay, we'll be there. Send
Count
the
us
plane
in.
tickets.
Count us in.
Send the plane tickets. If you need help picking the other athletes, we'll
Let
do
us
it.
know. We'll help you with
So
that.
anybody listening to this, next year, it's the last week of September, right?
Yep.
Last week of September. Come on out to view the Legends class at the Celtic Classic.
And I will promise you to be entertained.
Masters class.
You will not be bored to death.
We will
be entertaining. Entertaining. I promise you that.
It will be fantastic.
Yep.
All right. What else? What do we got next?
You got any questions, or are we down to story time?
How did the Armageddon series start?
Whoa. Now I need to tell this. So there was this, once upon a time, there was this grumpy, angry old dude.
I wasn't old. I was like 38.
Like 39. I said, very grumpy. And it was his last game. He was leaving his shoes on the field. He was done.
Ontario, Canada.
Uxbridge. I rode up with him. He tells me it's his last game, and I'm telling him,
had the nerve to beat me in my last game.
I'm telling him he's wrong. You know, you shouldn't. This can't be your last game. So we come up. We've got a good day going.
The reason it was my last games is because I had a brand new business.
True.
I had a smoking hot wife who was way younger and hotter than I was, and I had to keep up with her. I had a second job, and I just wasn't into it. I just wasn't into throwing.
You had lost your passion.
I had lost that eye of the tiger.
You had lost your passion. So Valenti decides to be done, and as we're sitting there we had a long lunch. We had something happen with
Remember
lunch.
that guy came up to us and he had the blue face paint on?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
He was a nice guy. He just needed a little
misdirected.
Little push in the right direction. By the way, if you're out there, and I know that some people loved the kilt thing about how to wear your kilt properly, and some people didn't. Look, don't wear face paint at the Highland Games. Don't do it. Don't put it on your face. It's not original. It looks ridiculous. Don't do it.
Don't do it if you're throwing. Do not put face paint on and throw.
For any reason. There's no reason to put blue face paint on.
No, there's not.
Unless you're 7.
If you're throwing and you're 7, you're allowed to wear face paint.
All right, so go ahead.
So Valenti just cranks up, his angriness about some subjects, Dave Webster being one, and
that was one.
That's the one we started with.
At the whole Dave Webster not inviting me to the Arnold thing.
I just started rolling the camera, and it just rolled off his tongue about his dissatisfaction with Dave Webster, who, I will say this right now, if you have Dave Webster at your game MCing, then you're wrong, because Dave sucks at it. Well, when he's not napping, he's trying to fix his toupee. He is 111
years old.
And he is farting dust. Yeah. You want Dave Webster there because he's Dave Webster, but you don't want him MCing because half the time he's asleep.
He kept calling me Val Valenti when he would judge. I was always Val Valenti, and then he would explain to me that it was some strong man he knew in the 50s.
Right.
I'm great, but my name's Mark.
Which he was like 70 in the 50s. Right. So that, So
anyhow, that's how it started.
Started with that.
But that was so vicious that I wouldn't let you post it.
I didn't post that because there was some name calling that went on.
Yes. Well, in my defense,
he had screwed you over.
No money at all.
He screwed you over.
And he had screwed me out of like $3,000.
Yeah, he did.
So I was
screwed
pissed.
You on that deal. So then it just kind of went into, I said, well, what else do you want to complain about? Well, that door got opened.
You
don't you deny? I did not. I
you
said,
did.
And I quote, "What would you like to rant about?" And he said, "Well, first I want to rant about this master's class. If you're not a pro, then you're not a master." That's what you said.
You're a senior.
This is what I was writing down what you told me to.
Well, you're not a master. You're a senior. It's a senior class.
You're a senior, right? So that was your first rant. And then you started ranting about something about men not being men. I mean, it was a whole series of stuff that you came up with. And I just wrote down.
This is fucking bullshit.
No!
Because you were knee deep in this.
I was writing down and
with
filming.
At least half the questions.
I did not.
At least. And we're giggling and nudging me on.
Of course I was giggling because you were talking
with
about
half the questions, knowing my feelings on these questions, and threw them out at me. You evil, little-headed bastard. This is what I hate about you.
Say that. I wrote down what you told me to. And then I asked the question on camera. That's how this went.
No, you
Yes.
came up with at least half of them, and you went, "Oh, Valenti, let's do this one," and you would write it down.
No. I'm not chafing.
Some
I
of
didn't
them,
do that.
I will fully admit I came up with some of the questions.
80%.
But some of them were yours.
I will admit there was probably a couple of mine, that I knew that you were angry about the sport in certain cases of stuff.
The other thing is you felt the exact same way about every topic we talked about.
I did not.
Yes, you did.
I did
and
not.
You wouldn't admit it.
I did not. I didn't
Because
feel...
you are
I did
a
not.
big phony.
I am not a big phony. I
are
don't
a
feel
big
the
phony.
same way you do about stuff.
I can't believe you said Jane was your favorite AD and not Alex.
She is
too.
my favorite AD. Well, I can't believe you didn't say Alex was yours.
I'm saying it right now.
You just said Jane was.
I just remembered Alex.
I actually said Jane was one of my favorite ADs.
You didn't say what. You said your favorite.
I said one of my favorites.
I am an Alex fan. I love Jane too, but hey, you can't throw Alex under
Listen,
the bus.
if you're throwing Jane under the bus, then
I'm
you're out of
not.
Celtic.
I'm
You're
just
already out of
saying,
Celtic before you got in.
You just harshly rebuked Alex.
When Jane calls and asks me who to put in, you're out.
She already invited us.
She didn't technically invite you,
She asked the question.
but it was asked to me
I don't think so.
on my
And
Facebook
anyhow,
page.
I'm just saying, I can't believe you would forget Alex. like
Pape,
that.
we need to move on. This is
All right,
going
moving
nowhere.
on.
This goes nowhere.
Anyways, it was Kerry's idea for
No.
at least half the questions.
No, not even 80%.
What do you hate most about each other?
This is what I hate most about him.
Here we go. This is
He-
fast.
This motherfucker, for our entire career, has egged me on to do mean stuff and to talk shit, and then he comes
such a
along
liar.
and acts like Mr. Innocent. I love everybody.
I
With
do.
his fake ass Southern charm and little tiny head, and pretends like he is the one. Like, oh, that Valenti. Oh, he's a grumpy old man. Meanwhile, he's the one who's egging me on by this. You know, Valenti, you should say this. If I were you, I'd say it.
I never did that.
You fucking always
Anybody
did it.
that knows you knows that I've never said, you should say this. You're opinionated as fuck.
But you always egged it on.
I did not. I
You
didn't have
agreed
to.
with everything I said
I
and egged
didn't.
it on. You just kept your mouth shut
Yeah,
so you wouldn't get in trouble.
Because I shake my head doesn't mean I'm agreeing with you to ag it on. Is that what you hate
This
about
is
me?
what I hate about you, yes.
The-
'Cause you let me take the heat for 15 years while you got to be Mr. Southern Gentleman.
Listen, if you're going to be charming, be charming. This is
You're
why people don't
charming
like
at
you.
my expense.
What do you mean?
I'm taking the bullets.
If you shut
I'm
that
down
mouth-
there in the mine shoveling
Oh,
coal,
God.
and you're up at the top just like taking tickets to the entryway.
If there was ever anybody working hard, it's not you. There's no way.
This is what I
You
hate.
know what?
This is
I'm
it.
not even
This
for
is the
sure there's
whole thing.
anything I dislike about you.
There
That's,
it is,
the
Southern Charm.
That's
Explain
I'm not
this
even
is-
sure I
he's a
dislike you.
bullshitter. He's phony.
Obviously, I must like you. I came all the way to freaking Canada to do this seminar where we've learned very little.
That's because you were at bikini posing seminars and shoulder stability nonsense.
For one, I was not at shoulder
Who goes
stability.
to that instead of watching Kaz and Cohen lift?
Because I've got a ton of people that need to lose fat. So I went to
So
a
you
place
went to a
that-
shoulder
fat loss.
stability
Wasn't
seminar?
shoulder stability. I went to a speed assessment. Again, because I train athletes. Sorry. Atlas stones don't get them stronger.
They do get them stronger.
Excuse me, don't get them faster.
They
Excuse
will
me.
get
They
'em
do
faster.
get them stronger. They do get them stronger. You're right. So what do I dislike about you? You know,
I am lovable.
it is definitely a very short list. Because what irritates me most about you is also what I like most about you. So I'm going to go with nothing. We can move on to the next question, young Pape.
We have to be close. We have to be close with the questions.
Your most embarrassing moment
Yes.
in the game's history.
I don't have one, but you have several.
Your whole career's embarrassing. So let me tell you Mark's most embarrassing without embarrassing anyone else.
Name. You can't say his name. 'cause
So
it's
we
real embarrassing.
show up. We show up at a Highland game, and there's a guy that we'll just say was a pro that Maybe shouldn't have been a pro, but kind of hung around and still got invites.
He probably shouldn't have been a B-class amateur.
Was probably still getting pro invites because he was a pro back in 1974.
He was very old.
And they just kept inviting him. So we show up, and the ongoing joke is that Valenti is going to get beat by him in the stone. So we think we're just kidding around, and Valenti will pull this out, and he really won't get beat by this guy. First throw goes down, and Valenti fouls.
Maybe the first time anyone had ever gotten into my head.
So then and Craig and I are pretty good about getting in people's nuggets. So then we walk over to Valenti, and we're like, oh, man, did you see how far he threw? Are you nervous right now? Is this something that's bothering you?
I was so mad at you two assholes. It just fucked me up.
So Valenti's probably 20 feet better than this guy in a stone. So we watch, and this guy just, boom, hits one out there, and it's like 35 feet. And we're like, oh, God, did you see the power? Did you see the precision, the timing?
Yeah.
Valenti gets in there again and loses a stone out to the side, and it's just a flutter around like 26 feet or something.
Trying to kill the fucking thing.
So you just see the anger, like the frustration and anger in him is just building up. He's getting worse. So, of course, Craig and I wanted to stoke that fire a little bit more, so we walk over and we're like, buddy, you better get down on one right here because this is about to go down. Guy gets up there again, smashes one out to 37 feet. Now, mind you, for our listeners that aren't Highland Games savvy,
that's not very far.
37 feet is probably when you start throwing, and probably 47 feet is probably a really good, like, fifth place pro throw.
Yeah.
So Valenti gets up there for his last throw, and he is so amped up, and he's ready just to smash this stone, and I forget exactly what happens, but I remember he goes through this thing, loses it halfway through, stomps on the trig, mad as hell, and Craig and I come over to pat him on the back and tell him it's okay, buddy.
Yeah.
That you just got beat by this guy.
By the worst guy.
So we rode that. We rode that for a while. That was a good year.
But my most embarrassing story was nowhere near as embarrassing as yours.
And I'll take all this. So we're at the biggest game of your Highland Game career.
Literally 50,000 people.
There's a ton of people. So that day, both days it had rained. So Saturday it was raining and Sunday it's raining. So I'm out there on Sunday. It's our last day of throwing, and we're getting ready to throw stone, and I'm out there, and it's raining, and it's coming down, and so the rain has got us all pretty much soaking wet. So my spandex is really gripping to my, really gripping to my thighs. Of course, when you had fat thighs like I had at that time, it, doesn't surprise you. So I go to bend down.
You were wearing like a wrestling singlet.
I wear a singlet. That's all I roll with. I roll a singlet,
wrestling
that's it.
Singlet under.
So I squat down to get something, and I just feel a whoosh. And I went, oh. So I reach down between my kilt, and I'm just feeling ass. And I'm like, oh, well, there's my balls. Oh, God. So there's a huge rip in my spandex.
Yeah, it was your whole ass was out.
So I go over, and I'm like, Craig, look at my, when I spin, watch and see if you see anything. So I take a spin with a stone, and I walk over, and he's like, no, you're good. I was like, are you sure? He goes, yeah. So I make my turn in my stones. It's still raining like crazy, and I throw, and of course it's not good because I'm horrible in stone. However, they actually called the game after like the third event because it was raining so hard. So we went back to the hotel. Everything's fine. Monday morning comes, I'm getting on the airplane, fly home. Monday afternoon, there's a picture on the internet, all over Nazca. Thank God we didn't have the presence of Instagram and Facebook that we do now.
Right.
Because in, 2007 or whatever it was that this happened, it would have been everywhere. So there's a huge picture that somebody had taken,
Yep.
and I'm in mid-throw, kilt up, and this giant ass crack hanging out of my spandex. Had I known this was going to happen, I'd have done a better job of manscaping this ass. So there's just this hairy ass in this photo.
And the photo is still out there. So if anybody out there has the photo,
It's still out there.
get it to me. I will put it up on social media and make sure everybody sees it.
It was embarrassing. Luckily, I have no shame. I'm okay with it. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
Yeah. Was that the most embarrassing thing that ever happened to you?
Well, there was another time.
Right.
There was another
There's
time at
another
Grandfather
time.
Mountain. So Grandfather Mountain in the
Why
south.
are you yelling? You're
is
yelling.
Am I yelling?
You're screaming.
Am I screaming?
Yes.
I want to make sure you hear me.
You got a microphone literally inches from your face.
All right, just
So
check.
I'd like to apologize to the listeners. Calm down.
You
Take
know,
a breath.
Guys, I get loud once I get to drinking,
Yeah.
and so I'm a loud guy. So I'll
Holy
try and
shit.
calm it down a little bit. So at Grandfather Mountain, we are. Don't you like that? Grandfather Mountain, one of the most prestigious games in the South. Don't listen to Mark Valeni, as I got him into that game unappreciative.
Worst games I've ever been to.
Great game. Great game. So we get up on top of the mountain, and it's, Craig and I went, and we were staying with my buddy Chris Cook. Shout out to Chris Cook. He let us stay in his cabin. Well, they had like 8 rooms in his cabin. It was up on one of these little mountains and little chalet kind of thing, and they'd cooked for us on Friday night, and we'd went up, and I mean, it was great. Had our beds and stuff. It was fantastic. So, because normally you've got to stay in a dorm room at Grandfather Mountain.
With no air conditioning.
Which is no
In North Carolina.
no air
In
conditioning.
the middle of July.
So
Fuck my life. It was
gets
the worst.
It gets a little hot.
We were in there with Ken Starnes.
Ken
Me
Starnes,
and
is a legend.
Craig stayed in the dorm with
For
Ken
you
Starnes.
guys who don't know who Ken Starnes is, you ain't been in a sport long enough because he's a legend.
Craig was fantastic to room with. He watched Netflix on his phone the whole weekend.
He's Craig's dull sometimes.
I love him.
Love him,
But
he's my boy.
he watched some Netflix.
So we get up there that morning, and all of a sudden I just started feeling, very weird. Like body was achy, just didn't feel right. And I tell Craig, I'm like, man, I'm not feeling good. He's like, what's wrong? I say, I don't know, my body's kind of aching. I'm gonna take some ibuprofen, see how it feels. Took some ibuprofen. About an hour later, I'm just aching like I've got the flu. Like I just feel I'm in cold sweats. Everything's going wrong. So I take more ibuprofen, and I'm get into the trig, and I'm like, all right, listen, it's only 2 seconds of your life. Just make it through this. My elbows were hurting like Mark Valeni's does right now.
Yeah. Nerve pain.
My knees were killing. Everything was hurting that never hurt. So I got in, I would throw, and I'd come out. And so I guess because I was in so much pain, I was so focused that it worked out for me because I ended up winning 5 out of the 6 events. Had a great day, but I felt horrible. So as we're coming down the mountain, so if you've ever been to Grandfather Mountain, you understand that when you're coming off that mountain, there's 200 cars deep.
Right.
And you're
Bumper
just
to
in
bumper,
traffic,
yeah.
bumper to bumper going down this hill. So I tell Craig, he's on the phone with his wife, and he's talking to her, and I was like, man, I don't feel good. And he goes, what? I said, man, I'm not feeling good. So I'm sitting there, and what the hell is that? I don't know.
5-star hotel.
Man, what is going on
Dr.
here?
Ken.
What in the world?
Beppe is deathly afraid of
I
bugs.
hate bugs.
Oh, this is great.
I once saw him run from a monarch butterfly.
Wow. So if you're not watching the podcast, we just got attacked.
Yes,
by
if you're listening to this on
Not
your
sure what
on
that
your
was.
podcast app, we just got attacked by some giant flying bug.
I don't know what it
Pepe
was.
ran for the bathroom.
Jeez.
And Kerry slayed it. All right, go
So-
ahead. So
we're in
on the
traffic.
mountain.
Ken Lowther is right behind us, and I tell Craig, man, I'm not feeling good. So I'm telling Craig, man, I haven't felt good all day, and he's like, shut up, sandbagger. You won today, you've won the overall, and now you're gonna act like you're sick. I'm like, man, I didn't feel good. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, all right, I feel like I've got to fart. So I go to fart, and It's one of those farts you go to let, and you're like,
super hot.
oh, shit, that's not a fart.
Why is it hot? It's always hot.
It was boiling.
Yeah.
So I farted, and I knew immediately that wasn't supposed to feel like that. Like it was just liquid.
Yeah, you're in a bad state.
So I looked at Craig, and Craig is on the phone, and he's talking, and he went, oh, good Lord! And he sticks his head out the window, what have you done? And it was immediate, like I'd thrown a turd in his face. So I jump out, and I'm like, I know I've shit myself. I shit myself. And I'm like, oh, God, oh, God. So Craig gets off the phone. Ken's behind us. Thank God it was Ken. And I'm like, Craig, I've shit myself. Craig goes, what have you done? I've shit myself. Why would you do that? Why? What do you mean? Why would I do that? I didn't mean to. So there's shit running down my leg. So I take the kilt off. Craig holds it because,
he's a good friend. That's a good friend.
Then I peel my spandex off, so I'm butthole naked standing on Grandfather Mountain Road. Get some paint. No. Take my shirt off and wipe myself because I'm cleaning everything up. Wad it up, throw it in the back into my bag, which I'm sure was just totally disgusting. So grab my only shorts I have with me, put them on, have got cleaned up. We get back in the truck. We make our way about another mile down the hill because you don't make much progress going down that thing. And I look at Craig again. I'm like, oh, pull over. Well, there's nowhere to pull over. Luckily, we were close to this driveway. And so we pulled into this driveway, and I got into the woods, and I just dropped trouser and pulled my shorts off. And I mean, I'm basically pissing all over these trees with shit. And my body feels terrible. And I'm just like, Jesus Christ, it's got to end. What the hell is going on? So luckily, Craig had some paper towels. I got cleaned up. We stopped at the gas station. I'm like, let me get some Pepto and let me get some anti-diarrhea.
Right.
I'll feel better. So we get back to Chris's condo. We get up there, and I'm pretty good. They'd had this big, huge spread meal planned for us. I mean, it was great. Big old pot of spaghetti and lasagna and all this stuff. So we go and we eat. Still feeling a little queasy, but I'm feeling way better. So I'm thinking, okay, this is over. Craig and I are going to leave about 3 in the morning. So we went to bed about 9 o'clock. So I lay down. I'm still feeling sweaty. I'm still feeling achy. I'm still hurting. And I'm like, I'm okay. You're going to make this. You're going to be okay. Middle of the night. Oh, geez. I jump up, and I try to get to the bathroom, and I'm shitting on myself as I'm trying to sprint into the bathroom. And it's just coming down my leg, and I get into the bathroom, and and now I'm not only shitting, but I'm puking. So I'm on the toilet shitting, and I went, and I put my face over in the bathtub and just started throwing up everywhere. So I'm shitting and throwing up at the same time. So I'm like, okay, so make this easy. I just jump in the shower. Get the shower, clean off, get everything done. I mean, it smells horrible. So I go back into the room Craig and I was in, and I hear some of the kids of Chris Cook's family come down. One little kid's down, like, Mom, it smells like dew down here. It smelled like dew because I had pooped in the floor.
Oh, God.
So, middle of the night, I get up. I'm just, oh, my God, I feel terrible. So, I went and got on the couch instead of being down on the floor. Got on the couch and thought, I'll be close to the bathroom. I coughed. When I coughed, an explosion from my asshole happens, and shit goes all over this cushion. I jump up. I'm getting to the bathroom. I'm trying to get cleaned off. It's the same thing. I'm puking. I'm shitting. I'm puking. I'm shitting. I get cleaned up, and I get back, and I see this dribble all over the cushion. I was so embarrassed that instead of me just, so I got a paper towel, wiped it off, but then I just flipped the cushion over.
Oh, no. So, Chris,
lay back down.
If you're listening to this, don't ever flip your cushion or just throw the couch out.
It was just a rental. Thank God it was a rental. Finally, about 3 o'clock in the morning, I was back up again in the bathroom, shitting and puking. As I'm coming out, Craig goes, my God, it smells like ass out here. And I was like, dude, if you're ready, let's go. So about 3:30 in the morning, we go down this hill, and it's about 2 miles down this hill, and it's curvy road. We get to the bottom, I'm like, pull over. So I only had the clothes I had on my back that was fresh left.
Yeah.
So I basically got naked on the side of the road, and I was up with my hands against Craig's truck, throwing up and shitting, just protrusions like going everywhere. Craig gets out and goes, "You know what? I've never felt sorry for anybody in my life until now."
He wouldn't have either.
4 more times before we got back to London, Kentucky to pick my vehicle up, I shit on the side of the road or some bathroom. It was terrible. It was nonstop for like 12 hours of me puking and shitting. And it was, I can't even explain to you. I lost 11 pounds in 2 days. It was awful. It was terrible.
Wow.
Yeah. Craig will never forget that.
I love it.
I'm glad you do.
Well, it's funny. It's funny when friends.
It was not funny when it was happening. So, heck,
your
what
most
we got?
embarrassing one.
That's
Do you have
it.
any more questions?
Yeah, we got the Pelican story with.
Oh,
Fuck.
man. I don't even know where to start
All right,
with
so
that.
I'll start this.
Yes.
So we would always stay at the same hotel for the Wisconsin Highland Games, and it was 2009 because it was the night my ex-wife burned my house down. She went TLC, Left Eye Lopez, and just burned my house down. So 2009, we are in Wisconsin for the Wisconsin Highland Games. We're staying at this hotel, and across the parking lot there was always this place called the Machine Shed.
Yeah, I love the machine
And it was
shed.
like a ghetto Cracker Barrel. Like, same deal.
Well, hold on. I
it was
actually
really
think it's
good.
better than Cracker
It
Barrel.
was.
I don't want to say it's ghetto.
Generic Cracker Barrel.
It was, but I think it was a little more upscale.
They have them in Iowa, too. 'Cause
They're
Aaron's
great.
taking me- So, we would always go there to eat because we have no money and zero imagination, and it was close. So we would always go there to eat.
Good food. You had
Very
food.
good food. So, we're sitting at this big giant table, and it was me and you and Craig and Doug Steiger and Clyde, Chris Chafin.
Yes.
So Chris Chafin is facing the door. Me and Kerry are sitting right next to him on one side. Doug's sitting on the other side. Craig has his back to the door.
So now hold on. So basically, everyone that he just explained is almost kind of facing Chafin.
Right.
We're facing away from the door. Chris
Right.
is really the only one that's looking
Directly at the
back
door.
towards the door area. Yes.
And everything is quiet, and all of a sudden you hear, "Oh my dear Lord!"
Screamed it. Like
Screamed
screams
it.
this out. Yes.
So, now, before I say this, I want to say that at no time were we comfortable with this. At no time are we condoning this. And it was pretty much one of the most terrifying, horrible moments of our life. But Chris Chafin is yelling, "Oh my Lord," and in walks this poor little girl.
She was already sitting down, I believe. She was already down at the table because
They had to bring her blocks, right?
they had to bring her something to put her feet
This
on.
girl was horrible. There was something.
She had a disability.
She had some disabilities.
She had some disabilities.
And Chris has more disabilities than the little girl because he's a flat-out dumbass. Just absolute no social graces at all. Like I always said, I was like Philo Beto, and I was traveling with Clyde, the orangutan, when I would go places with him. So he yells, "Oh my dear Lord," and me and Kerry and Doug look at the poor little girl, and we go, "Oh fuck," because we know he can't keep his mouth shut.
We had to look because when he yelled
Right.
it, we thought, well, what's over there? And we turned and we looked,
Right.
and then he just would not shut up.
Yeah, so he's like nudging us and go, and he's serious. He is not making fun of this little girl. He is kind of baffled and terrified by the little girl, but he can't talk quietly, so he's saying it super loud. So he's nudging us and go, "Bo, did you see that? Did you see that? Bo, did you see what she looks like? Look, she's got little steps for her feet under the table." And me and Kerry have our heads in our hands.
He said she needs a sign around her neck.
She.
You got to warn people, he
You
said.
gotta warn people before you leave the house. And like I said, he wasn't making fun of her. He's just a fucking dumbass.
He's just chafing.
And then,
Oh, God.
and so he goes, oh my God, she looks like a pelican. Because she has this like big jowl. So at this time now,
right now.
Craig can't see the little girl. He's just watching our faces. So Craig puts his spoon up and he's looking at the little girl in the spoon across the table. And we are dying of shame and embarrassment at the same time. Meanwhile, he's so fucking loud that everybody in the restaurant can hear what he's saying. And we don't know what to do because we just can't get up and run out of the restaurant.
We can't. We don't want to laugh, but
Oh
we're
my
laughing.
dear Lord!
We're laughing at him because he's so stupid. Like, we're not laughing at her. We're laughing at him because he's so stupid about this.
So
and
when he
yelling
yells,
and
"Oh my
screaming.
God, she looks like a pelican!"
Now, I do want to preface this with, if Chris Chapin is asked about this, he will deny this.
I swear,
He will deny
on
this.
my mother's eyeballs,
Yes.
this is a true fucking
I
story.
swear on Granny D, this is exactly what happened. And he was the one that did every bit of this. We were just innocent
We
at
were
the table.
mortified, but we were also laughing at
yes,
him because
we were laughing at
he's
him.
such a dumbass.
Yes,
So,
just the shit he was coming off
We
with.
are.
Oh,
We
God.
didn't know if we should run out of the restaurant or go to the bathroom. But the other thing is, if you leave him there, he's not going to stop. He's going to start talking to people at other tables.
Yeah, he would have told the waiter.
So we're trying to corral him in. Poor Doug Steiger, who is the sweetest human being on the planet, he doesn't know what to do. He looked like he was shitting on Grandfather Mountain. Like his eyes were rolling back.
Doug was dying.
And then it happens.
Oh,
so
God.
you tell that part.
So
this goes on for literally 5 minutes
Yes.
of him saying this.
Yes.
And we're going, Chris, shut the fuck up.
And I think because we were all giggling at him, he really agged it on. And by no means was he being mean-spirited. By no means was
He's just an idiot.
he was just being himself. And I knew when we were starting to laugh, he just made it worse.
Yeah.
So as we're sitting there, all of a sudden this person appears at our table. And it was a girl from that table. So
like
one
a
of the
mom
girls,
or an aunt or something.
one of a relative standing there, and she goes,
Well, wait a minute. As soon as she stands there, we start to panic. Me and
God.
you, we're like, oh, fuck.
I was sweating. Like, when I seen her and looked up at her, I just thought,
Because you knew what's going to happen. We're going to get blamed for
we're
this
the
idiot.
worst humans
Yes.
on the planet right now. And she goes, let me just tell you all something. And I just told Valenti this today. My heart felt like it was in my feet.
I was literally just going to run out of the restaurant.
I thought I was going to throw up.
I was just going to leave you guys
felt
there. I was going to run out of the restaurant.
I had no idea what I was going to do. And she goes, you guys are awesome. We watched you today, and y'all were incredible. And the first person to yell out, thank you, ma'am, was Chafin. And taking all the credit after he had just done what he had done.
Yes.
And we are sitting there, and you and I were like, oh, God, we can breathe. Like, I felt like I was alive again.
My stomach hurts so bad.
Mine's doing it right now.
It is.
Right now.
Because it was the worst. Because you just
terrible.
knew she was coming over to yell at us. Because she had every
right
right to yell at us.
She should have cussed us like dogs, and it wasn't really our fault. We were laughing at this animal with us.
He was an animal. Yeah, he was an animal that could not be controlled.
But let me say this again. He will deny this.
He will.
Accuse us of being the one that made fun of anybody, and we did not.
He absolutely will deny it.
Because as we're sitting there, as I told you at the beginning of the story, we were facing him.
Right.
He's the only one that saw the person and screamed out, just like Valenti said.
Oh, my dear Lord.
Yes, exactly. Exactly what he did.
He will do that, though, because remember when he lied about Lanny Pullen's teeth?
That's true.
He said he looked like Gollum?
He made fun of Lanny viciously. And when he was called out about it, he blamed us.
And we happened to be sitting right next to Lanny at the table.
Yep.
And
so we put him on speakerphone.
Yep, we put him on speakerphone. And we got him. Yep.
Yeah, we got him on that one. But yes, that was a touch and go moment for me.
Yeah, that was one of the scariest things that's ever happened to me in my life.
That was bad.
She would have had every right to bash us about the head.
Oh, I was expecting her to. It was bad.
Yeah, that hurts my stomach just thinking about it right now.
Yes.
All right, to wrap things up, talk about Curlvember.
Curlvember. Yes. All right, so I don't know when this is coming out. We're going to have to let it out soon. We'll put it out in a couple weeks.
Well, so we've got it out. So Curlvember will be
We'll put it out probably the second week in November.
All right. So if you haven't already known about our video, Mark and I have already put it out there that it'll start the 1st of November.
Right.
We want a measurement of your arm, a photo of that.
Yes. On Instagram or Facebook.
Yep. You do whatever you want in rep range or volume, how many sets,
implements,
whatever you want to curl, but just you're curling something every single day. And then we want a measurement at the end of the month.
So the goal is, you don't even have to curl every day, but the goal is to increase your arm measurement in the month of November.
That's right. So whatever you can do curling wise, if you want to do it every day, because I'm going to plan on, and I think Mark is too, we're going to put a variation of a curl out every single day.
That would be good, yeah.
I'm going to do that.
Right.
So there's going to be some crazy stuff happen.
What supplements would you suggest to help this along? Like synthol?
I would not. Well, now synthol will jack the arms up pretty quick. If you don't have synthol, canola oil will work also. Just inject it right into the bicep.
Into the muscle itself?
Now, stay out of the vein, but into the muscle belly, you'll be good.
Canola oil in the muscle belly.
And if you don't have canola oil, don't use vegetable. It's not near as fluffy as canola oil.
All right.
You don't get as much out of it. And if you've got synthol, go right ahead. That'd be okay.
Cheating is welcomed and encouraged.
Yes. Yeah. So, I would encourage everyone to at least do a couple of sets of curls every day.
Every day.
Yeah.
And this is we basically are doing this in a more positive light, not because of anything ridiculous that's happened in the past for other competitions. I'm so fucking tired of Squattober. So ridiculous. I get so tired of all this stupid shit. So, but no, we are keeping this positive, and we're going to have fun with it.
Yes,
so
we are.
All of you should have fun with it, too.
Yeah. Feel free to video and put it up every day.
Tag us in your videos.
Tag us in your videos.
Kerry Overfelt on Instagram and Refined Savage brand on Instagram. So tag us in those.
Tag us in that.
November 1st, get those arm measurements out there.
Let's get them. What'd you say? Get jacked?
Get jacked.
Get jacked.
All right. Are we done with this? I've had enough, and we're out of drinks. So this has been your second podcast with us.
Second one.
We'll have more to come. So all you
I'm
people
honored.
wanted
I'm honored.
Second Kerry Overfelt podcast. Here it is. We're going to have to get Mullet Boy on for the next one. And maybe, just maybe, pull Chafin on at some point.
Oh, dear Lord. That'd be beautiful.
We could call him out on all his nonsense.
We could.
That's it.
I want to be there for that.
Kerry Overfelt. This has been the Refined Savage. See ya.